everyone, this is Vibesize here with part 2 of Unicron Trilogy Optimus Prime. Well, of course, we're talking about part 2 of Armada / Minicon Legend. This is the last part of it. So let's talk about, of course, as noted, go back to part 1 of this video if you have not, if you found this in your feed. The link is in the description, in the card, or in the comments below, pinned comment below. So, with that being said, here is my shameless plug-in to support me. If you want to make the show better, that'll be great. If not, your interactivity with this video will help me get more people to watch my videos, and also commenting too and sharing. So, let's just get on to the video of talking about the next segment, Nemesis Prime. Probably, I'll be the one who first says about episode 43. It's my favorite episode before we start the finale. This episode is placed almost less than 10 episodes left in the show, and shows us Nemesis Prime. Although he is mostly a throwaway character to a toy in a different paint, Nemesis Prime is a roadblock of what is to come from Unicron. Though, I thought this episode a lot since episode 52. When I saw Nemesis Prime, I thought he just looks like Optimus' shadow, or a version of him he can let go and let his instincts take over his mind. The embodiment of what Optimus fears if someone sees him like this. In the Japanese version of this episode, which is not implied in the Armada version, Nemesis Prime growls like an animal, and in one scene runs on all fours like a monkey or an ape. This is sadly being taken out in the English version of the show, where he is a powerful threat, as he carries the Darksaber sword and the same attacks as Optimus. I thought Nemesis is more like the encounter in Legend of Zelda where Link fights his shadow in his different versions of the game. A necessary fight that you need to win in order to defeat the greater evil. Fighting Nemesis Prime was necessary before fighting Unicron. If everything fails, defeating Nemesis, who's to say that trying to defeat Unicron carries the same outcome? When I say this episode gets new toys on the line, it's because Nemesis Prime damaged our main characters, and the Minicons helped them repair with a new color. Optimus comes in, and for the first time, he asks Megatron to help out and defeat Nemesis with a relative ease. This shows the two can work together to fight the greater foe, till we are one, I guess. Yet this doesn't change the fact that Doubleface was posing as Nemesis Prime from far away. But why Doubleface wanted to kill the Autobots and also the Decepticons? What kind of motive that he wants to defeat both of them at the same time? This, of course, made Starscream and the other Autobots suspicious of Doubleface of what he wants, and we'll discuss in the next segment. After a couple more episodes, and we see Starscream dying from thrust from the blaster, but was saved this time from the traveling powers of the Minicon, we get a glimpse of the real truth of the Minicons and Unicron. We can say that this episode, the kids went back in the past, but the Transformer article states that this is the past, but in an alternate world, where this universe went into Unicron's favor to devour it. In this universe, the Minicons never came to Earth or left Cybertron. They never became self-aware of themselves. In this timeline, we hear from Hotshot that the Minicons were just using them the entire time, as they were made from Unicron cells. Unicron, in his planet mode, witnessed the war on Cybertron, and of course he's bored of his mind. He produces the Minicons in hopes that Autobots and the Decepticons you would use them to fuel his return, and there won't be a way to prevent it. And they were baited, and the destruction happened, leading this universe a husk of what it was. Now the audience know the full truth of the Minicon's conception. We are brought back to the point where Thrust was about to fire the blaster, but everyone's shocked on what happened. Starscream and avoids his death in the meantime. Starscream in the last couple episodes has proven himself that he is just a troubled individual like Optimus believed in the entire time. The reason why Optimus didn't want to defeat Megatron when Starscream came on the team was too risky to go on head-on without a plan first. Or, if they do defeat Megatron, what will happen if a power vacuum is formed? It will just make it worse for his team. Or maybe it has nothing to do with after Megatron's defeat. We see that Megatron's personality when Optimus dies. The will in them just stops as their greatest threat dies. That is not with their hands, but someone else's. It is the thrill of what keeps you going every day as a person. Optimus feels the same way as a human does. The unsatisfying desire to do whatever you want, and what happens after that goal has been set and fulfilled. English dub does a really good job at that. Optimus has lost his individual will that he personally wants, but he never questions himself what he wants when the war is over. However, we see in the Japanese version that Convoy is a lot harsher towards himself than he lets everyone know. This ate away at him, similar to the English dub, that he tells himself that he's not good enough being a leader, or even good to the people who looked up to him, his friends that he considers as a family. He convinces himself that he's not Megatron. Constantly, he has everything that Megatron can't. For example, the Matrix that was given to him is a reason that sets him apart from Megatron. When Starscream dies for real this time, Convoy and Galvatron sort of made a ceasefire and decided to work together to defeat Unicron, as Starscream requested Galvatron to do. It is not perfect, but at least back in episode 43, it is established that Convoy and Galvatron can work together, like business partners, you know? In my opinion, there is enough growth between the two that be on the arms race that whatever universe they are in, besides maybe Earthspark, the audience know that Optimus and Megatron will always hurt each other in every version of their character. Even in Earthspark, where it is an alternate universe, Megatron and Optimus did once hurt each other. That is the reality of their dynamic, and a fate the two don't know, but we as the watcher knows. However, that soon becomes a reality when the final episodes show Convoy's being hypocritical of himself, that he is different, and he wants to be the savior that everyone tells him to do. He needs that constant fighting, but doesn't realize he could hurt the people he truly wants to protect. His own justice skewed on his head, that he is the only person who can save the world from darkness. It is revealed that Doubleface is neither side of the war. He is a part or a cell produced by Unicron, similar to the Minicons. Since the Minicons and Unicron, Doubleface has the influence to control the Minicons to some degree, or a vessel to remotely communicate without loss of disguise. The audience saw this coming, as his name Doubleface says it all and what he truly is. A servant to Unicron to devour the universe and go to the next one. It is implied that Doubleface probably seen multiple versions of Optimus and Megatron from other universes when he encountered them, because we know Unicron is the same Unicron from all different universes. If he fails this one, or his influence disappear, he will continue on to the next. A never-ending cycle that Unicron does best. You know, Algecora at its finest. He calls out to Optimus on his behavior of justice and what he believes it is right, which is in retrospect that the most terrifying thing to hear, that he isn't wrong. The NeoGames does a really good job on this idea. Your sense of justice will be different from someone else's. Even the creator of the NeoGames, people's skewed version of justice influence the world those around. Just like Yoko Taro said in Dragon Guard 3, Philosophies of Violence, you just don't have to be insane to kill someone. You just have to think that you're right. That is true for Convoy. The fighting with Megatron just becomes mindless, and you ask yourself the question, is this even worth fighting for? I guess if the Minicons do reveal themselves earlier what their motives were, that would be a horrible sense to Convoy. All this fighting is pointless when there are greater threats lurking around. That is how Unicron gets his power, from despair, the hate, or anything negative emotions. Even the thought of him is the things that he made. It all feeds back to Unicron, and we're all baited to that pitfall. Okay, going back to Doubleface's putting on his dominance onto Convoy and Galvatron. Doubleface criticized the both of them for their ignorance, and just tells them to give in. Cool villains do, as there's nothing the two of them could do or would do to defeat Unicron. Doubleface asks the big question, what are you going to do after this fight's over? Doubleface just sees it unnecessary to see the conflict between the two, and why not? Just give in. Or give up. Just let the universe be consumed by Unicron. In the Japanese version, Doubleface goes on to Convoy without the Matrix, and he is nothing. And he's just the same as Galvatron, a transformer consumed on who gets the most power or triumph the other. In the short, Convoy isn't special. He just believes, with all his responsibility, the Matrix. He believes he is special. When you think who is Convoy as an individual, he just pretends that everyone wants him to be. That's probably what eats him away inside, and why Nemesis Prime exists. Nemesis is his darker reflection, and he tries to resist that temptation for so long. Convoy at first did allow those accusations get to him. Of course, we already know that Convoy and Galvatron to finally defeat Unicron together with the help of the Minicons forming together, and at least now it's defeated. For now, at least. In canon, Convoy loves fighting, and he loves the thrill of continuing the war. That's what gives him purpose. He's been lying to himself with his refusal to merge with Unicron. Becoming the ultimate being speaks out for Convoy's hypocrisy, and what he enjoys stretching out this horse so much as so. Of course, Unicron will give Optimus what he always wanted. Unicron tries to merge, but fails as the children came in and stopped this from occurring. This wave of energy changes Optimus Prime's color to we now know Nemesis Prime's colors. But wait, hold on. We're on episode 51. There should be one more episode left to get to the finale. And Galvatron says to Convoy, like Doubleface says, it is true that the greater threat is over, that they will revert back their fighting. Though the kids insist the fighting is over and there shouldn't be any more fighting, Convoy agrees with Galvatron, as their fight is personal. Even though the threat is over, their bound of hurting each other will continue for infinite, until one will stand. Basically, Batman cannot be around with his Joker, or a yin to their yang. Convoy has no purpose if the darkness doesn't come around to challenge hope. The universe and the things within will not have purpose, that he will fight for the most. Convoy realizes he fights evil is protecting those who cannot, while giving the inspiration of hopes in the next generation, who grows up does the same thing what Convoy does. He fights for his friends, the things that he loves, much like Superman, his home, or Cybertron, or Cybertron, however way you call it, his new home on Earth, which that Convoy found his own will and his own way. When the fight with Galvatron is over, he says his goodbyes to the children for one last time while holding on to the Matrix in his hands and looks at Galvatron. He throws it away by making the battle equal from each other. No more of that extra edge, and no more holding back himself. To Galvatron, there's nothing more than a foil or a reflection of each other. Good and evil just stand in the balance. Convoy, with no mercy, unleashed his nemesis onto Galvatron for the first time, no longer fearing his darkness consuming him. He needs to show his friends and Autobots that he can defeat Galvatron with no Matrix. Convoy is technically ready to die, a swordsman leaving his sheath behind into an unknown battle, where the victor and the other will perish. The two fought one another until Convoy claims victory against Galvatron, as Galvatron laughs once again that they had fun, and they're glad to do this again. Convoy, now letting go his own fears, tells Galvatron what justice means to him. That is a valid point, that Galvatron, he understands what justice is not obtained by winning battles, but winning the battle at the end is more important. By that chain of thought, just like the Near games, by having justice is something you believe in is right. Convoy realized he was right, but ignores the things surrounding himself and excluding the people like the Decepticons. He must look in and find the root cause and figuring out why this suffering is happening. He understands by just winning the end, he gives himself enough reason to continue the fight, the evil, and things like Megatron and the vacuum comes. He will be there to defeat the threat and knows he won't be alone anymore. Episode 52 has got to be one of my favorite episode finales in the Transformers franchise. It is everything that an audience want of a final fight between rivalry between the most iconic characters. It is great for Convoy letting go of his own hatred that he so desperately closed off from others. His colors became darker, and his eyes turned from a yellow to a darker crimson red, a darker shade than Galvatron's. In some cases in the animation, makes this obvious that Nemesis merged together into one. Convoy accepting his other half. To a lot of people, it is freaky. He has always been like this, just like Doubleface said. After the end of the fight ends in Convoy's favor, the remains of Unicron started to become active, making a black hole of some sorts. He holds onto Galvatron, but Galvatron refuses. He tells Convoy he will never be on his side regardless of alignment is with darkness, as Convoy seeks the light, thus making their fight inevitably infinite until no one's left. They really do like to hurt each other in all universes, don't they? Convoy understands this, but wants to save Galvatron, but Galvatron intentionally slips out of Convoy's hand and lit into the black hole, and he's probably fine. At the end, Convoy sees the Matrix floating next to him as he looks at and tells himself he doesn't need it anymore to fight, but he takes it anyways. It sort of does mock him as his desperation to have power. He does look away from it. Even though Optimus doesn't claim he doesn't need it to be special, he made himself to be special. Anyways, we cut back to Hotshot and Jetfire returning to Earth and safely bringing back the children, and also saying their goodbyes to each other. As Hot Rod says, it's going to be a while for Cybertron to be rebuilt, but promises to build Earth and gets the chance to. Rad asks if Optimus is going to be okay, and Hot Rod explains, no matter what he does, he'll always come back. They will just have to pick him up at Unicron's remains. I guess leaving a convoy behind in dead space was a priority to bring back kids first. But this is kind of petty, but they do pick up Optimus later. As we see in Anna John and Cybertron, they've rebuilt their home for the time being. Now we can finally relax and... Can I just be petty for one time at the end? Pros. It's a good story. The ending is really good. Cons. We got Energon and Cybertron shows. The ending of Armada / Micron Legend is really good. But the music at this scene doesn't work as well. Trumpets does not help in mind that this universe is still pacing itself to a slog. I prefer the ending to be like this, and then have an end credit scene of Planet Unicron disappearing with creepy music, showing that there's more to come. And this is very exhausting for 2 more series after this. Does everyone want me to review these 2 in the separate videos? You know what? Let's do it. Heyo, thank you for watching this. This is like my 3rd, 5th rewrite of this script, and I hope I did mostly everything. Editor me is just probably making a scrolling text of what I missed and the stuff I missed out, so my audience doesn't think I'm stupid. I'm always stupid, aren't I? Obviously, I have not read the comics, Because, oh boy, there's a lot to unpack with these comics, and there's a lot to talk about actually finding them. Nevertheless, I do this so you don't have to, and I hope you watch the Japanese version of Armada, because it is the same story with the extra finished animation, and it does a lot for the show. As I say, the Micron Legend is the definitive version of how you consume your media. That being said, the sub and dub wars are exhausting, and I'm tired of it. So if you don't feel the need to look away from the screen and prefer the dub, that's fine. That is how you consume your media. I can't tell you which version you want to watch first. If you feel you're not connecting to the characters, then it's fine to watch however you like. No one's controlling you how you watch. No one has the time to sit down for this stuff and insult the person who wants to consume the media with you. That is how you keep an audience, and I don't want those who are turned off by saying that is how you watch the show. No, and that's not the case. For me, I do get mad and petty for the small things. So that is the end of the UT trilogy for, I guess, the majority of Optimus Prime's character and his fight for justice. I hope when I make the hotshot video character analysis, it would clear up more about Optimus Prime's character, as well maybe a little bit on Starscream's character motivations. In my opinion, Hotshot has the most growth throughout the show of Armada / Micron Legend. As I said early in the video, I have my Ko-Fi set up, so if you enjoy my videos from me, your contributions will give you a shout out at my end card if you like. If you can't donate the moment, you already are contributing by viewing this video, liking this video, commenting, and sharing it with your friends. That is all I have for you, and I will leave you once more. Goodbye. Bye-bye.